Hey guys, how you doing? We finally reached tier 10. I'm going to show you 2 games, 2 amazing in the meta tanks. What do I mean by in the meta? Meaning they are perfect tanks to dominate in the way the game plays out these days. The meta of this game, these tanks are just incredible, and we're going to start with the VZ55. Driven by Banana. Let's go. Let's go. From the Pajur clan. Shout out to you guys. And what do I mean by the meta? These are meta tanks. Guys, the meta in this game right now, there's 3 things. Speed. Speed is a must. If you don't have speed, you're very situational. You're not competitive. Firepower. You have to have firepower. And when you're at tier 10, most tanks have firepower. Speed and firepower. And number 3, if you can throw in some armor on top of that, you're the perfect meta. Okay, don't push your teammate, just go out there. You got speed, you got to this spot quickly. You're going to take 1 and 2 shots on the Patton, which does not have speed, and decided to try and reverse. Speed. This map is all about speed. This team got here, look at the mini-map. Can I show the mini-map? They got to this spot. The enemy team can't even cross. They can't even cross right here because these guys were just really fast and they got to this position and they've won the game already. It's just so broken. The way the game plays out these days, it's so broken. In the old days, when tanks couldn't go 65, when you were a heavy tank with a 2-shot autoloader, British medium tanks used to go 20. Heavy tanks would go 15. Maybe not that bad. I'm exaggerating, but yeah. The game has just become you're rewarded by getting into position faster. Then you use your firepower. You just spam APCR like a mofo, and you just whittle down the enemies as fast as you can. And if you have some armor on top of that, you're almost invincible. So I'm going to feature 2 heavy tanks that at tier 10 are just primo meta tanks. Primo. And we're excluding the Chieftain, which has all that, and the Object 279E, and the reward tanks. Oh my god, look at this. There's a Yag. What is that? A Yag Tiger. Oh, and he's reloading. He doesn't get a chance to shoot the Yag Tiger. Wouldn't that have been beautiful to shoot the Yag Tiger? Oh, wait a minute. The Yag Tiger is slow, especially in reverse. So he hasn't got into safety yet. So, he doesn't have speed. So he's not a meta tank. 1,062 damage because he's a lumbering turd. 2 heavy tanks. And there are a lot of tanks at tier 10 that do have speed and do have firepower. Leopards, medium tanks, EBRs. There's lots. There's lots of fun tanks that have speed and firepower. And they're all good tanks in their own way, but they are situational. A Leopard has to be in a certain situation to do well. It has to stay undetected. It has to shoot at range. It doesn't have armor, right? An EBR has certain situations that it's really good in. Other situations in a city where it struggles. But if you can combine speed and firepower and then throw in some armor as well, like in this VZ55, or the next I'm going to show you another game in another beautiful heavy tank that has it all, then you can do everything the medium tanks can do. And on top of that, you've got heavy tank durability. And yes, this can do anything a Leopard can do. You can snipe at 500 meters with this. This gun is just insanely, ridiculously good. And at tier 10, there's a lot of heavy tanks that have guns that soft stats are even better than a lot of the medium tanks. Like, look at the aim circle. The fact that the game said screen hit is besides the point. I mean, the game programmed that there's a screen on the hull of that tier 9 premium tank. So, okay, now let's see him just chew through this M103. Okay, what's he doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're gonna shoot this guy. Chew through this guy first. 1, so he bounced the shot and boom, he accidentally hit the M103. Now he's bounced 1,500 damage, which you can't do on a lot of other tanks. Okay, come on. He's going to take these two. You got a tier 9 and a tier 9. You can just take them out. He's bounced a shot, so now you shoot the M103. One and just press the trigger. Just press the trigger. That's all you got to do. Just click. You know, guys, I always find it funny. These players. Great player, but I got to say, you know, you've gone through the trouble of loading almost. Look at the bottom there. 306 pen 490 alpha. He's got almost completely premium ammo loadout. And he's aiming at an M103. Just shoot. There you go. Just take another shot. Just shoot. It's funny, right? I guess they forget. They go through the whole... the reason they load the premium ammo is so that you can take someone out quickly. Speed in doing the damage. Because you don't have to waste time aiming. You just... premium ammo, snap, right? He can go through the M103 like pretty much anywhere. Just shoot now. Just don't aim. Please shoot. Just shoot. So, but then they forget and they start, oh, where's his cupola? Anyway. He's over 6,000 damage. And what was I saying before I got distracted? There's some tanks in the game that just have it all. This one and the next one I'm going to show you. Where you can do everything that a TD or a medium tank can do. You can snipe from far away with your super laser accurate gun. You're not that big a profile. You're not like an E100 or a Mouse or a Type 5 Heavy. You can actually stay concealed in some bushes like another medium tank. You can do everything a Leopard could do, but you can also do what a heavy tank can do. You can fight an E100 head on, easily. Or you can snipe. Also, if you got turbo and you've got the speed, you can relocate on the map, just like a medium tank can. You can reverse quickly like this to... Like, you reverse like an EBR for crying out loud. Look at the maneuverability of this thing. It's just insane, and that's why it's like a meta tank. I just shoot him in the ass, once in the ass, and maybe shoot him in the ass. Oh, shoot this guy in the track. And he absorbed one. He's bounced 2,300 damage, and he's absorbed one. He's over 9,000 damage. This tank is just the primo. They designed this tank to fit perfectly in the meta. Now we're going to talk about how did we get here? How did we get to this meta? Oh wait, there's a Leopard. Oh, how is the Leopard going to handle this encounter? Oh, just shoot his side, overmatch the side, 519 damage. The Leopard bounces his shot. Of course he does, because, you know, you have armor. And now you can just ignore the Leopard, because he's very scared. He's going to try and use the dead tank for cover. And unfortunately, the Leopard does not have one pixel that can bounce your gun. So the Leopard's going to try and run away. But let's just face it, the Leopard's going to die. The Leopard cannot do what the heavy tank can do, but he can do what the Leopard can do. And now he's going to face an E100. And, you know, it doesn't matter, because he can face a medium tank or a heavy tank. And the E100 is going to sit there, really carefully try to do something, but, you know, don't push him, teammate. The E100 is basically going to show any pixel, any of his dozens of frontal weak spots, and be taken out easily. And he has the E100 doesn't even have the speed to traverse his hull fast enough to angle. He cannot even react. This guy could scoot around him, and the E100 does not even have the traverse speed to just turn his tank like this to try and angle. He just can't do it. He's just a big lumbering turd. And that is not a meta tank. This is a meta tank. The T95, not a meta tank. He's having trouble. Go help your T95. Take the shot. Yeah, block the shot from the E100. Save your teammate. I think he misjudged the reload time of the E100. But he ends up with ace tanker, guys. At 12,733 damage. Just a beautiful game. You know, you lost credits because that's how this game works. Let me show you another one. Here's another tank that's an absolute gem. Fits the meta perfectly in this game. The Object 277, driven by... What is his name? What a Phoenix. What a phalanx from the Apaz clan. Shout out to you guys! Driving his Object 277, another just beautiful tank, speed, firepower, and throw in some armor. Speed? Really? It's a heavy tank? Yes, it's one of the fastest tanks in the game, really. It's just, it's not faster than an EBR, but watch what happens in this game. This is all about speed, okay? He's zipping along at 55. He's a super heavy. He's zipping along at 55 kilometers an hour, which enables him to completely cut off the enemy team from being able to do anything in this game. Look at his teammates. Look at the mouse behind him. It's just, he doesn't have to stop here. He can just keep going forward because he's Russian and he's fast. There's the VZ that we just featured. Also fast, got to that point. But this guy's managed to get to here, and now the enemy team is going, what? What's going on? And the enemy team can't play this corner anymore. He's completely cut them off. It's nuts, right? Okay, so he's got another shot. Oh, look, someone's arrived. Daddy, someone's arrived. He's already got 1,000 damage. The enemy team, some of the enemy team hasn't even arrived. Where's the E100? Has it finally arrived? Where's the enemy E100? Daddy, is there an enemy E100 here that I could shoot? There he is. He's finally got here. Well, let's go shoot him. Let's use your armor on your turret to bait a shot. Come around here. Oh, there's the E100. Daddy, the E100 arrived. He's showing the front of his tank so I can easily pen him. And that's this game, okay? The E100, utterly garbage useless. The E100 can't even get to the corner now, right? Because he can't push his teammate out of the way. He's still pressing the W key, God bless him. And he just got to the battle. He can't get positioned at the corner. And he's lost half his HP. Then take another hit. Shoot him again. There you go. And that's the perfect example. The E100 just a hunk of shit garbage that has no business in this meta. And this tank, oh, he bounced a shot. The armor's holding up. And these fast tanks that just make mincemeat out of you. Now, how did we get to this? Let's not, go on about whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. This is just the way the game is now, right? There's certain tanks that, driven by good players, can just use their speed to get into critical choke points and positions. The maps are designed where there's certain key positions. If you get to them, you dominate, and if you don't get to them, if you're an E100 or a T95, you're wallowing there. You're the last guy to get there, and the flank was lost before the E100 even arrived. The E100 didn't need to even play this game. He was just an extra HP for this guy to farm. So how did we get there? Well, it wasn't like that in the beginning, right? When they designed this game, they designed the maps and they designed the tanks, and they tried their best to balance things, and I have to say it was balanced. And in those days, heavy tanks were slow. Light tanks were fairly fast, but they only went up to tier 8. Medium tanks were medium speed. The British medium tanks only went like 25 kilometers an hour. And when the game started, this map didn't exist, but 90% of the maps we're on these days are old maps. They're the same maps, they haven't changed. The game would start, and a couple of light tanks would zip up to some spotting positions. There'd be 1 or 2 light tanks in the game. And then some medium tanks would move around to different flanks, and the heavy tanks would slowly trundle towards the choke points. And it would take a minute or two to deploy around the battlefield to get set up for this strategic type of game that we played. And it was about strategy and positioning and stuff like that. Well, since then, everything they've introduced to the game has either made it faster, stronger, or faster, stronger, harder. What is it? Super. You've got tanks with bigger guns now. They constantly buff the speed of tanks. They've introduced tier 9 and 10 light tanks. They've introduced wheeled vehicles that can zip around at almost 100. Then, because some of the slower tanks were being left behind, they introduced stuff like turbo. So even if you have a tank that's kind of medium speed, you can put turbo on it, and you can get it even a little bit faster. Then you can get bounty turbo. Then you can get bounty equipment. You can get purple vents, purple gun rammer, purple improved aiming, purple, you know, purple, the yin yang. And if that's not enough, and your tank's still not good enough, you can get field mods, right? As you get your field mods, you get faster, you get more maneuverable. It's a constant. You can have an IS-7 now, which has been buffed numerous times with speed. Standard speed of 59.5. Put purple turbo on it, and full field mods, and you're zipping along in an IS-7. Did I say IS-5? In an IS-7 at 65, 66 kilometers an hour, going downhill at 70 in an IS-7. And that's the game now, right? So what do you do when you're a mouse? You know, what do you do? What do you do when you're a Type 5 heavy? You are at the mercy of the matchmaker in the map. Snap! That's a good shot. You just have no options when you're slow. You can't maneuver around the battlefield. You can't react to the battle. You can't even traverse your tank fast enough to fight multiple targets. You know, you're in a crossfire and you're in the E100 and you can't traverse fast enough to even angle your tank, and they're going to spam you with heat anyway. So, oh, let's wait. Let's say it snapped. Yes, Branicia. So the meta in this game now is all about speed, because the maps haven't changed. Okay, so let's do another snap. Snap! I love saying snap. So the maps haven't changed, and everything else has got faster and stronger. So getting to key positions is like that. There's no more slow deployment. So if you want to dominate it and you want to be the tank that can carry, you have to be the tank that has the speed and firepower and some armor. And this is the perfect in this meta. The VZ55 that we just saw, this one. Let me know in the comment section which other. There's a few other tanks that are just absolute beautiful. Oh look! A T110E3 just showed up. He probably sat here for a little while to snipe, didn't have targets, now pressed W, and it took him 8 minutes to finally get into the battle. T110E3 showed up. It's been 7 minutes. I've playing like a T110E3 or a T95 or a Tortoise, or what's that other thing? The gerbil, or the badger. Jesus, it's like, oh my god. In some games, like in this game, this guy zips to that choke point. If you're in a gerbil, a badger, and you're trundling along, by the time you get to the choke point, it's done. I'm here, guys. Oh, you killed everyone already. It's just disgusting. So yeah, what was I gonna say? Leave some comments in the comment section. Let me know what is your idea of a great meta tank in this, and you know, leave the reward, the chieftains and Object 279Es out of it. Regular tech tree tanks that you think are, ooh, let's see, now look at that. See, he bounces 2 shots. He made a mistake. He didn't see that guy, or that guy did the right thing and snuck around, and he bounced 2 shots. He bounced another 1,000 damage, which if you're in a tank without armor, if you're in a Leopard and he sneaks up on you like this, boom, boom, 1,000 damage, right? So have some armor, have some speed, and have the firepower, and you can just dominate. A good player can carry. A good player can get a 65% win rate in a tank like this. Now let's do the reverse side scraping. Oh, that hurt. Oh. Where did that? 1,063 damage with Hesh. Hesh has 230 pen, 1,750 alpha. So that means that shot did not pen, because that Death Star shoots 1,750 alpha plus or minus 25%. That's too low. That means that's a non-penetrating shot, because that's less than 25%. You know, 1,750 minus 25%. That's even lower than that. It did not penetrate, but Wargaming put a big hole in his side. Look, there's a big hole in his tank.
Da is right. There's a big hole in tank. Hesh. High explosive. It does not explode anymore. He did not penetrate. Hit the screen. So he only did 1,000 damage, but we put big hole inside. Why? Well, because they're losing 8-11. If they're winning 11-8, then shot bounce. And there's no hole.
Well, why is there a hole in his tank? If the shot didn't penetrate. And it did. It didn't penetrate, guys. If it penetrated, that shot would have been 1,750 plus or minus 25%. He'd be dead. So it was a non-penetrating 1,000 hit. My question is, why is there a hole in his tank?
Is reasons. The special Russian pixel with spaced screen.
Now, I hope you enjoyed the series, guys. We're winding to a close. I'm losing my mind now. But I had fun doing it. Leave some comments. Subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed it. And hopefully we can have a good discussion in the comments today about the meta in this game. How I believe it's all about speed. Speed and firepower, and throw in some armor, and you're just... Oh. And some enemy Muppets. Like, no. Throw in some enemy Muppet. Would you stop saying help, for Christ's sakes? Who the fuck do you want to help you? You've got 11,000 damage. You're in the meta tank. Stop pressing help. But a good player in one of these meta tanks can get 65, even 70% win rate. And that's because, look, he's bounced 4,000 damage. You can dish out the damage like there's no tomorrow. You can relocate on the battlefield because you have speed. You can get to those primary choke points, overpowered primary positions. You have the option of doing that and being aggressive, whereas if you're playing a turd tank, like a Jagdtiger or a gerbil, you just can't get there, right? You can't get there before the enemies. You just can't. This guy's going to get to the choke point first, and even his teammates that are in the slow tanks, now if there's a gerbil on his team or an E100, he gets to the choke point first, and then that E100 shows up there and goes, there's no room, right? It's a small choke point. There's a rock, and and this guy takes position, and then the slow tank gets there, and like the E100 on the enemy team, he's kind of like a fish out of water. He can't side scrape properly. You can't push the teammate out of the way. You're just there like an idiot going, oh, I wish I was here 2 minutes ago, but I'm so fucking slow. And there's another Muppet that just leapt to his death because, you know, reasons. And you end up with these tanks that are just fit the game perfectly the way it is. Object 277, IS-7. What's wrong with driving the Object 268 version 4 and being the fastest, most heavily armored TD that can ram a Grillate to death? What's wrong with that? Name me some other of the fit the meta perfectly tanks. And I know there's other good tanks like the Leopard, there's Object 1 Forte, and all those. There's other great tanks, tier 10. But there's some that are just above and beyond because they have everything. Like this one and the VZ55. That game was good enough to get his third mark. Look at that list of enemies, that 11,818 damage. Fantastic game. Leave some comments, guys. Let me know what other tanks you think for their tier are the meta tank. I'll read the comments, and I'll make some videos on some of the suggestions you have if I agree with you. But hope you enjoyed the series, guys. I will catch you again on the next one.